Good afternoon and welcome to this evening's webinar on Your Thoughts Will Heal You or Kill You. And I am Dr. Emma Davis, a veterinary scientist and a veterinary career and business coach. And I'm going to be walking you through a podcast by Marissa Peer on her famous work on how the mind works and how your thoughts literally can build you up or take you down. Today's webinar, I'd just like to acknowledge Marissa Peer, who is the author of the book I Am Enough, and I have put the details of her webpage there for you. And also Lewis Howes, who has a webinar series that is excellent on becoming the expert and having your best life. And he's had some really interesting webinars, including this one by Marissa Peer. So this webinar is going to cover a couple of things that were brought up in that 80-minute webinar, so a podcast. So I hope that you've had a chance to either watch that or listen to that. And I'm going to go through a couple of reflections on that as well. And also we're going to relate it to the veterinary world, the veterinary profession, and see how it relates back to us as a profession of high functioning, high achievers, and in a very stressful work environment. So today's webinar, we are going to also introduce myself. I better introduce myself and then I'll run through what the webinar is. So I'm a career coach. I'm a veterinarian of 20 years. I have worked in practice, in mixed practice and equine practice. And also I have worked in government for 12.5 years. And I started a business and a website called veterinarycareers.com.au. It's global. Although it's an Australian address, it's a global website. And this is a place where veterinarians can go and build an amazing career. And that's our vision for that business. I have 2 business partners who are also veterinarians. And we are so excited to give you guys a place that you can go and smarten up your vision for your veterinary career, for your earning, and yeah, just make sure that you are loving your veterinary career. So check that out at the end. I've got a link to that. So that's me. And on to today's webinar. The webinar, we're going to look at why our mind's job is not to make us happy. The 3 things that everyone has wrong with them, including why so many famous people are unhappy. Why the stories we tell ourselves matter. And dealing with negative feedback. And also in that, the 5 steps to stop bullying. After that, we're going to have some veterinary reflections, particularly around the inner critic and how that shows up externally. And some things that vets can be a bit prone to, which is black and white thinking versus a resilience thinking or mindset. And we'll answer some questions and have some reflections. And then we'll have a section on moving forward as well. I'm glad that you're with me today. So why our mind's job is not to make us happy. So I've got a quote here that those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Okay, so a why is such a powerful thing. It's a catchphrase at the minute. If you know your why and you're passionate about what you do, then you never work a day in your life. And that's what my vision for all veterinarians. We got here because we're passionate about this science. We're passionate about animals and people and doing good in the world, and we've got a strong why, so we need our how to smarten up a little bit and to carry us through. So how does this relate back to why our mind's job is not to make us happy? Well, basically our mind is here to keep us safe. So the way our brain works, it's actually not about being happy, not about succeeding, it's actually about being safe. And human's brain thinks it's safest to stick to what is familiar. So if you grow up in different environments and that's familiar to you, then your human brain, until it's reprogrammed, will think that whatever you grew up with is safe, and it will seek to get back to that same place. So I've got a reference here from Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game book. When we're under severe pressure, and I think veterinarians who are earning not very much money and who are working long hours can be under this type of pressure, we have a scarcity mindset where we think that there's not enough in the world. There's not enough time, there's not enough money, you're not smart enough, there's not enough energy, there's just not enough. There's that feeling of it's never quite enough, and that's a scarcity mindset. And a scarcity mindset brings out the survival instincts in human beings. It activates that deep, basic part of the brain that we just talked about, trying to keep us safe, and that's called a reptilian brain. And that reptilian brain, at the deepest, darkest parts of us, makes us believe that it's you or me. And you've heard about the fight or the flight mechanism, and that's the same thing. So the fight or flight mechanism brought about by the reptilian brain can help us survive, but it can often bring out the worst in people. And so if that is the mind of our job, the job of our mind is to keep us safe and alive and not particularly happy, and we're under a lot of pressure, then sometimes that fight or flight reptilian brain can be controlling our actions. So it's up to us to understand this and then to put in place things to help manage our own minds. So what are the 3 things that are wrong with every human? I was so glad when I heard Marissa Peers say this in that webinar. Does anyone else relate? How good was it to hear that the 3 things that are wrong with every human are things that you might have thought to yourself, and I know that I have. And they are, I am not enough. Number 2, I am different, so I cannot connect. And number 3, I really want something that is not available, like success, freedom from depression, a father's love, more money, etc., etc. So we really are seeking something, but we feel that it's not going to come. So in that, I hope that gave you the gift that it gave me in thinking, oh, I thought that was just me. And to be connected with every other human in that way is a great relief, in fact. So of those, she thinks the most damaging, Marissa says, the most damaging is the one, I am not enough. And that is usually the root cause of all dependencies, all addictions, and all of that addictive behaviour. So workaholism can be an addiction, obviously alcoholism, obviously harder drugs, sex can be an addiction, shopping can be an addiction, eating obviously can be an addiction. Yeah, all of those things done in great proportions as an addictive behaviour are stemming from someone's deep-seated thought process that they are not enough. I'll just go onto the other page. I'm just going to play a clip from the podcast around that now.
Always a belief, I'm not enough. That's the biggest thing. In fact, I always say to all my clients, there's only 3 things wrong with everyone. Everyone has got 3 things wrong. The number 1 is I'm not enough. The second one is I'm different, so I can't connect. And the third is I really want something like freedom from depression or success, but it's not available. But I'm not enough is the biggest. I mean, I've worked with hundreds of thousands of addicts. I've never found one ever that ever believed they're enough. And if we look at the key addictions, shopping, binging on food, binging on alcohol, binging on drugs, sex, especially porn, all of those things come from a feeling of emptiness inside because we're taught, oh, you feel a feeling? Why don't you eat some donuts or go onto eBay and buy it, or Amazon buy something, or have a drink? And our feelings are the most real thing we have. And we push them down. We find all this stuff to buy or eat or drink or take to keep us, like John Lennon said, comfortably numb. But then the feelings regroup and come back because they've always got a job to do. And I would say to my clients, look, you've got to feel the feeling until it no longer requires to be felt. You can't eat it or drink it or shop it away, but we're all taught that we can and should. So I'm not enough is the biggest problem I see. I mean, if you look at Amy Winehouse or George Michael or Whitney Houston or Philip Seymour Hoffman, immense talent, gift, beauty.
Why did they feel like they were enough, though? When the world says you are enough, I'm going to celebrate you. You're going to have everything you want. We're going to talk about you constantly, stroke your ego, pay you a ton of money. How come they still can't get over that they're not enough?
That's a great question. There's a couple of things. First of all, if you're Amy Winehouse and someone says, write a song, and you write back to Black in 5 minutes to give you $8 million, it's what I call the self-destructiveness of talent. I didn't earn that. It's a bit like a lottery winner. I didn't work for that. I've got to get rid of it. You know, lottery winners who haven't had money will almost always go bankrupt very quickly. So if you didn't earn it, it has no value.
That guilt of not feeling like, well, I didn't work.